nicely parked his truck right where he always parks it, right outside the corner of my house. The motor on the refrigerator unit ran for 3 days, non-stop, day, night, day, night. I came to your house, you were out of town. I went to your brother's, he was out of town. I called and left a message, and you got that. I even called the law. I called the sheriff's office and asked them what could be done. They told me, they came down and looked at it, and they called me while they were sitting outside the truck. Said it was parked legally. The only thing that I could do was probably to get the town to put a no parking sign there, and it would cure it all, they could tow it off. So.
We can't put a no parking sign there because it's a state right of way.
Okay.
We don't have any control over that.
All right, well, that's what they told me. So I said, well, I'll mention that to the mayor. And so by Sunday, I was pretty livid. Monday, I was washing my car in the yard, and Michael came by. And I said something to him. I said, why did you leave that truck running all weekend? I said, you don't have to listen to it. We do. I couldn't sleep all night. It was nonstop. Everybody on the corners had to listen to it. And he said, and I want to know this, if you've got anything in writing, that Alan Williams told him, as long as he put that, whatever rock or shale he put down there, that he could park there as long as he wanted to. And so I told him, I said, well, Mr. Williams is not around here anymore, and I don't think I'll find out if it's in writing. And I proceeded to tell him that I was going to do whatever I could to get that truck out of Iron Gate. So I'm here for that reason. And
I wish I wasn't inside you.
so anyway, he told me that if the truck went, the bus went. So I said, that's fine, but I got a yard, I'll park my bus in my yard. And I own that corner, you don't own that corner. So that's what things went on. But I hear that you've sent him a letter, and I guess you insinuated in that remark you made about other people getting notices about their house, that that house was going to be torn down soon too, hopefully.
That's been a year.
That's been
one of them.
a long time.
And normally I would not make any comments, but I feel like there's some things that do need to be addressed here tonight. There's an ordinance, I have a copy of it right here, that was signed into effect the 22nd day of August 1996 when Lethea Fisher was mayor. And the ordinance says, it shall be unlawful for any person to park a road tractor, tractor truck, semi-trailer or tanker attached or unattached on or alongside any public street, roadway, highway, or alley lying within the corporate limits of the town. Notwithstanding the foregoing prohibition, parking on or alongside US 220 shall not be affected unless otherwise posted. And therefore, this is the ordinance that we're operating under right now, because it has never been amended or changed, right?
Right.
And that's what's quoted. As far as any agreement, and this has been said to me too, there's no record that I've been able to find as recorded in the minutes of any agreement entered into between the town or anybody parking a truck on the streets. We have two individuals parking their trucks in town. Both individuals have been notified of the ordinance. And having said that, nobody in this town, other than this council or the council that was seated at that time, has or had the authority to make any agreement with anybody in difference to this ordinance. It would have had to be voted on and acted on by the council to grant a variance to this. Now, going a little bit further than this, and Chris, you might need to address this, and I know that, I don't think y'all knew about this ordinance when y'all were called down here for the truck.
Probably not.
But are y'all are enforcing our parking and restrictions as you know about, right?
I do have a question. That is going to bring a question into thought. When you say this parking and tractor trailers, will that affect the business across the railroad tracks?
No. Well, they're not parking on the street. They're parking on their property.
Their property. Okay. I just want to make sure, because I can see if somebody calls,
Right.
you know, I wasn't
Right.
aware of anything. I guess you must have researched them. But I didn't. But
Well,
now
I'll
we
tell you
know.
where I found this. I found this in the police office when we cleaned it up.
And this was not in the packet that was cleaned up that I sent to you and Matt. So this is sort of falling through the cracks, but new to us, but it's been on the book since '96. So I'll scan this and send you both a copy so you guys will have it.
So we know that any trucks parked on any side street, a semi-trailer, tanker, whatever, is parked, is illegal.
Traffic infraction, problem.
Yeah, hold that thought for a minute. Patricia, was there a phone number on that trailer that had that? Those are the ones.
He called it. The
Who called
sheriff's office called it.
Yeah, what did they tell him?
They gave him Michael Nicely's name, and they had, he's leasing it.
Okay. When our chief of police, Brad Hodge, was here, and Mayor Williams was seated, we had some of you, I believe it was a work session, this same issue came up, and it got pretty heated. And Brad come out there and said, no, we don't have that law anymore. That we can't enforce that. So we need to check to make sure that something hasn't superseded that original, just to play safe, Mayor. I don't know, because we argued about it. I mean, it got a little heated. And he said, no. He said, I'm not going down there and writing no tickets because you all authorize them to be able to park off of 220, only on 220. And it's always been my knowledge that you're not supposed to park, but he come up with it and showed it. So I don't understand that.
Well, there's no other ordinance or amendment to this ordinance that I can find. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying if it did, it's not recorded.
Okay.
And Bobby,
Do you remember that?
yeah, very well.
Yeah.
Because I was under the same impression that you were.
Yeah.
And I was told that we weren't allowed to enforce it. But since you and I have been on council, because we went on council the same day, there's never been a change in that ordinance since we've been on council.
Not an official change, no.
No, nothing official.
I don't know where he
That
came up with
the council has acted
I don't
on.
know where he came up with the paperwork to shut us down.
Brad didn't know what he was talking about.
Well,
I know.
that was par for the course.
There's
a lot of them guys, see it down driving, and I let them park over there.
Right,
As long as it's gone by Monday morning.
right.
And I think, my son drives a tractor trailer truck, and he said that he felt sure that Tommy Garden would let him park over there, as long as he was out of the way of them coming and going. There's tons of room over there. He said, all he's gotta do is ask. That's another thing. And another question I have,
Okay.
who owns the property?
The town.
Will you sell it?
There has been numerous requests for the property to be sold. And my understanding, Jared, we explained that to her, where we are with that stalemate as far as the title, or what came up with that.
What's the what?
It's the one across from Scotty.
This is the one that we had surveyed
Yeah.
in that wedge
The
down
wedge
there
down
near the
there.
crossing.
The one that Scotty's interested in.
Scotty requested to purchase it. We had the public hearing
Right.
to sell the property. We did the survey, and then we run into a snag with, there were some issues you found, and then we had all these other legal things that you were tied up with.
Yeah, I think we're basically waiting on our appraisal to figure out basically if we think we can get a fair price for it. I mean, I don't think
We can get the clear title in.
or at least do a quick claim deed and whoever buys it, buys
See,
it.
it would be a win-win for the town. You'd have, the guys wouldn't have to mow it, take care of it. You'd get tax revenue off of it.
Am I gonna be gone?
It might be done.
And I've noticed an issue, this statement right now. Any talk of purchasing that property, I'm out of it.
Right.
It's gonna be dealt with by the vice mayor and the council because a request has been made by my brother.
Well, I don't care who buys it. If he wants to buy it and share it, I'll help him pay for it. Whatever.
Yeah, I took.
But you understand where
I
I am.
understand your point.
I took
Yes,
the project
I'm like it.
over to push it forward to, and as far as we got was that it went to the public that we were going to sell the property. All costs pertaining to getting the property ready would be absorbed by the person who bought the property. Now, if we have more than one, there would have to be an auction per se, or a bid
Oh,
at
yeah.
a minimum of the price of recouping the cost.
If he don't want it, we'll get somebody.
Well, but I have till midnight Sunday night, and whoever else is
One thing you want to keep in mind, even though the property would the lots or whatever they are broke up would actually be up for sale, there is still a right-of-way through there for the VDOT.
That's a right of way all the way through town for that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You gotta remember, it's gonna still be there, and somebody can park an automobile, but according to the ordinance, they're not supposed to be parking tractor trailers.
Right.
But an automobile, you can park your automobile there and there's nothing, as long as you're clear of the highway.
not on the private property,
But not on the private property. See, that's what you gotta keep in
They
mind.
could still park in front is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same with anybody. I
That's
could park
just like-
my bus in front of your house, it doesn't
Right,
matter.
I know, yes.
But why would I want to do something like that to aggravate you?
Well,
Anything else, Pat?
Let me check my list.
Take anything away from her, will you?
But
I got them right on here.
also,
Okay,
there's
that's-
a right of way down the middle of that place.
It's what?
well, that was the confusion that we had
There's a
finding.
right of way down through the middle of
Well,
it.
we're not going to address selling the property tonight. This is,
I have a question there, because I can see this becoming a hot topic. That's not the only person, I won't call any names, but there's others that have parked tractor trailers on side streets. And I'm thinking one within a 2-block
He's got
radius
a
from
letter.
there.
He got a letter.
So my question is, have they been notified?
Yes.
That they are involved? They have, that was my question.
Yes.
So they know,
yes.
okay.
Now,
But
the one
it's,
that's parked on the lot over here has permission to park on that lot.
That's private property.
That's private property.
but I was asking if the people that were in violation of the ordinance had been notified.
Yes.
So therefore.
Well, let me back up, Chris. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
No, no,
sorry,
it's
but one's been notified because we know he got his letter. The second one has not yet picked his letter up. But they've been mailed, and we're in the 15-day process waiting for them to be picked up.
I just have to pass this along so the guys that work down here know, you know.
Well, two was just pulling in on that lot when me and Randy come up.
Over here?
Yeah, over.
Yeah, nothing we do about them. They're on private property, so.
Well, I do want to say that since I've made my complaint, he hasn't left it running. He's moved it to the church in front of his house, and it's running there, but it's not bothering anybody on that corner that I know of. It might be bothering her or the other people, but
All right, Johnny?
Is that actually on the books,
What?
that paper you got?
This ordinance? Yes, sir. Right here.
I didn't know if it was something y'all made up or what.
No.
I don't care.
That's the organization, further than that.
The new truck driver you got for the trash truck, why did you keep the old one on?
He's in the hospital.
I know it's there for now, from the 1st of December to the 19th, he was still working some.
Training the new driver.
Well, every time I see him, he's riding around in a pickup truck while they were picking up trash and stuff.
Well,
He wasn't in the truck with them.
He was driving today.
I'm talking about
he's talking about Wayne.
I'm talking about Wayne.
He's talking about Wayne. The reason that Scott was hired the 1st of December was for him to ride or drive with the crew to make sure he knew the route and the procedures on the route. Now, obviously, I'm not down here during the day. So I don't know if that was the protocol that was followed, but that was what was decided that would be done, and that's why he was still working. So,
Well, I do know there on the 14th that he was riding around in the pickup truck while the rest of them was out picking up trash and stuff. And then he went over to the dump and sat off the rest of the day until dinner time. I mean, to me, it ain't right.
well, I understand that, and I'll look into it. I can't answer your question tonight, but I'll look into it. Okay. What else you got?
That's it.
Mr. Mayor, on this truck sitting down here, it seems like you can't never get a hold of the gentleman. And since we've got the ordinance, just swing by there and throw a ticket up on the windshield and we'll get him in court and he'll find out everything.
Technically, by law, it can be towed.
That's what the officer told me to.
I mean, that's just something.
See, he won't pick up his letter.
One of the people parked there, they'd be in church. But I do know they said he could park it there.
He's on their property.
I hate for any harm to come to him or anything like that, but he don't have to listen to that. He doesn't live in the town anymore. He doesn't have to listen to that noise all the time. And it just don't seem right. Y'all wouldn't like it either.
That's not on the trailer, that's on the app.
And the thing we want to be very careful of here, and we don't want to come across in any of this like this is a targeted, vindictive assertion on the town's part.
Well, why not?
Because it
The way
is.
I look at it.
You move over, you come over at my house and miss that truck 3 days.
Well, all right, okay.
How often has that
It
happened?
has happened one time.
Okay, guys, hey, guys, we're not gonna do that tonight. But it is an ordinance, it's on the books, been on the books since 1996. And why it hadn't been being enforced, I can't answer that.
I mean, we're gonna have to enforce it across the board. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't, we're not gonna be able to pick and choose.
It's not gonna be one or
Can you-
the other.
It's out of
Can you
fairness.
warn them first? Can you just give them a warning
That's
before
up-
you do a tow
Yeah,
them?
that's up to the officer, that's their discretion. You know, I can't say that, but typically, I mean, if you had a gentleman come in here from out of town that wasn't from here and pulled up and parked for 2 minutes or something, I would say probably, hey, you're in violation, you need to move your truck. Most people will do that.
But that's why we've sent the letters, is to give them a heads up, because it hasn't been enforced, so give them the opportunity to let them know. Hadn't been enforced, but it's gonna start being enforced, so plan accordingly.
Was he legal to park out on 220 in front of his house?
Now, you can park on 220. They can park on 220. It says right here, except on 220 unless otherwise posted.
Gotta put it in front of your house, John.
I don't care. I can hear anyway.
That could be a good thing.